you stick an anti-fragile sticker on this box. That's telling the box that, hey, go ahead, toss me around, do what you want, because every time you toss me around, I'm going to get stronger.
Welcome to Philosopher Insights, the podcast that delivers wisdom in minutes a day that you can put into practice daily and strive to master over a lifetime.
The podcast committed to sharing ideas that encourage you to bridge the gap between who you are today and the person you aspire to be in the future.
Hi, my name is Herb Lamba, and welcome to my podcast, where I will share practical insights from the world's best authors.
Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is. The quest to become the best version of you starts right now.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Philosopher Insights podcast. Today I wanted to share a concept that I learned back in 2019, and it has stuck with me ever since. The concept is called Anti-Fragility. It's based off a book by Nassim Taleb called Anti-Fragile. You might be wondering, why should I care about living anti-fragile? Why should I live with anti-fragility? I want to explain that because I think this concept can help us in personal development, in getting better, and being able to express the best version of ourselves. When we learn to view adversity as an opportunity to grow, we develop the resilience needed to succeed in such an unpredictable world. Anti-fragility is a concept introduced by Nassim Taleb in his book Anti-Fragile, Things That Gain from Disorder. The concept of anti-fragility is a property of systems that benefit from stressors, shocks, disorder, rather than being harmed by them. In his book, he talks about fragile systems being those that are easily harmed by stressors and shocks. Whereas robust systems, they can withstand a little bit more stress, a little bit more shock without being harmed. Anti-fragile systems go way beyond robustness, as they benefit from the stress and the shocks. The more stress, the more shock, the better they get. According to Taleb, many natural systems, such as our immune system in our human body or the ecosystem, are anti-fragile. They become stronger and more resilient when they get exposed to stress or shock. The key behind anti-fragility is systems should be designed to embrace uncertainty and disorder, rather than trying to eliminate it. Instead of trying to predict and prevent all possible risks, anti-fragile systems benefit from having built-in redundancy, flexibility, adaptability. In other words, they are designed to learn and improve from experience, and they become more robust and better prepared for future challenges. Let me share a simple example that I learned in the Optimized Coach program that I thought expresses this message perfectly. So if you imagine a box being shipped from one location to another, and on that box, they label it fragile. Fragile says, you can toss me around, but don't toss me around too much. Don't put me under too much stress because I'll break. And at the next level, you can go robust or resilient. And robust or resilient simply means you can toss me around a lot more than you can toss around a fragile box. But eventually, if you toss me around enough, I'll be broken down. What if you could go anti-fragile? You stick an anti-fragile sticker on this box. That's telling the box that, hey, go ahead, toss me around, do what you want. Because every time you toss me around, I'm going to get stronger. Every time you toss me around, every time you throw me a challenge, every time you throw me an obstacle, I'm going to get stronger. That's how we need to live our lives. And that's why I think it's such a powerful concept to take from this simple box and transfer it to your own personal development, your own personal growth. Let's look at a few ways we can apply this concept of anti-fragility to our own personal growth. First of all, anti-fragility means you need to embrace discomfort. We need to learn, and I know this is the most overused statement in personal development, but it's so important that we learn how to step out of our comfort zone and start taking some risks. We have to be willing to face uncertainty. We have to be willing to get uncomfortable because that's the only way as a human being you're going to learn and grow. We cannot do what most people are anxious to do, which is the minute they encounter any challenge, risk, uncertainty, discomfort, they want to pull away from it. They don't want to lean into it because it's too painful. We need to flip that around. We need to understand that by living with anti-fragility, by stepping outside our comfort zone, by pushing ourselves to be more uncomfortable than comfortable. That's how you grow. On the other side of all that uncomfortableness that you feel, you're going to level up your personal development. And then as you move up and you continue to live in this uncomfortableness, you continue to grow as a person. Second, we need to learn from failure. And again, everybody in personal development is going to talk about failure, but let's look at it from an anti-fragile perspective. If anti-fragile systems are designed to learn and improve from experience, then when you apply it to your personal life, be willing to accept failure and learn from it, rather than what most people do and get discouraged by it. It's only when you reflect on your failures and you use the lessons learned that you can make the changes necessary to become anti-fragile. I think it's important to think about how much failure are you willing to accept? How much failure can you endure knowing that you're going to learn from it? Stop being discouraged by it, like the majority of people who are not even willing to take a step in any direction because they're afraid they're going to fail. I feel really bad about the education system when I think about this. Kids are growing up today, just as you and I probably grew up, being told by our parents, being told by our teachers, being told by society in general that failure is a bad thing, when failure is really the best way there is to learn. So we need to become anti-fragile by changing the way we look at failure. Third, what about cultivating flexibility? Anti-fragile systems, as Taleb said, benefit from having built-in redundancy and flexibility. In personal growth, this simply means to be open to change and willing to adapt to any new situation. If you can cultivate flexibility and have a flexible mindset, you can become more resilient and better prepared for any of life's unexpected challenges. The one thing we can't afford to do is to tiptoe through life thinking we're not going to encounter any challenges, thinking we're going to sit back in our comfort zone, and at the same time, we're going to be able to become the best version of ourselves. The final one is developing a growth mindset. So what anti-fragility encourages us to do is to view our challenges and our failures as an opportunity for growth. By adopting a growth mindset, you can help see setbacks as a chance to learn and as a chance to improve. And when you focus on the process of learning rather than the outcome, which I think I've talked about many times on this podcast, we become anti-fragile. I've heard this term that a setback is nothing more than an opportunity for a comeback. So we need to be willing to bring on the setbacks, to expect the setbacks, and to embrace the setbacks because those setbacks are what make you anti-fragile. I wanted to conclude this podcast today with a mantra that was stapled to my brain in 2019, and I'm sure I've shared it already, but I'm going to repeat it on purpose. And the mantra was, obstacles make me stronger. OMMS. What a powerful mantra for someone who is willing to go anti-fragile. It reminds us that we don't need to fear obstacles, we need to embrace them. Because wrapped up inside every single obstacle in your life is the opportunity to be better, to grow, to develop. So don't let them become a barrier to your progress. Just to summarize, choosing to live a life of anti-fragility can be such a powerful mindset for individuals seeking to thrive in an ever-changing world. Because we learn to embrace stress, we learn to embrace change, and we learn to embrace fear, and we develop the skill of overcoming our obstacles. And by doing so, we become stronger, more resilient, and better equipped to face any future challenges. During my Optimized Coach training, I also learned about another fascinating aspect of anti-fragility, and that was developing what's called anti-fragile confidence. The idea was also discussed in the book The Power of Agency, which highlighted how people with high levels of agency, or that feeling of control over their lives, perceive stress in a much different way than those with lower levels of agency. The goal becomes, instead of trying to reduce stress, it's now to build up so much agency that stress becomes fuel for personal growth. In other words, by developing anti-fragile confidence, you can not only withstand life's challenges, but you thrive in the face of them. People that have a sense of agency over their life have a sense of control over their choices, their actions, and their decisions. It's that feeling that you have the power to shape your own life and your own future. When you have agency, you're able to set goals for yourself, make plans, and take the necessary steps to achieve them. You have this sense of purpose and direction in life, and you feel motivated to work towards your vision for the future. Having agency is so important to the concept of anti-fragility because it helps us take responsibility for our own lives. You simply build your anti-fragile confidence one micro challenge at a time. One rep at a time. There's no better way to live life than focus on the very next rep that you can apply to help you build anti-fragile confidence. If you want to move away from fragility, if you want to move beyond resilience or robustness, and you want to reach the level of anti-fragility, then I'd suggest you take ownership of your agency, your ability to control the outcome, rub your hands together, and then use whatever obstacles life throws your way as fuel for your growth. And soon enough, you'll find yourself living with anti-fragility.
You've been listening to Philosopher Insights with your host, Herb Lamba. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To go deeper with me, you can register for free at www.philosopherinsights.com for instant access to a growing library of Philosopher Insights, which are 8 to 10 page PDFs plus 20-minute MP3s that break down my favorite insights from the world's best personal development books. To catch all the latest from me, you can follow me on Facebook at Optimal Herb. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.